Green Arrow 44 by Julian Shawna Benson, Javier Fernandez on the art. So this is, you've got the citizen who assassinated someone on TV after the vote, and he's coming after Oliver Queen and two others. The woman in particular was riding her horses to
fix races.
To fix races, yes. And we have Oliver riding about, Kate's phoning them, being, it's like, oh my god, I'm your lawyer, can I sue this guy for libel, blah blah blah, and all crazy things are going on. And they try and track down Citizen when this is all happening, and it's like, because obviously my question early on was like, okay, what's he got on Oliver? Does he know he's Green Arrow, or is there something else?
Yep.
And that's kind of...
but you have to think that if he thought that it was Green Arrow, then that's what be why he was coming after him, right?
Yeah, it's just like, what was his angle here? And eventually we get the reveal, and it's this. No, he was drunk when he was in college, and there was he hit a tree, and he killed this woman that his dad covered up, and whatnot. Yeah. And I actually really like the moment where Dinah turns around and says, "Oh, this can't possibly be true," and Oliver just walks out the building, and I'm like, "Shit, this is real. This happened." And obviously he says that afterwards that he didn't know that anyone was there. He thought he just hit a tree. But the story lines up. He's like, okay, no, this did happen, and if that was added onto it, then yeah, that sounds right. So don't get me wrong, I'm kind of expecting it to be kind of revealed by the end of the arc that he didn't actually kill this person, that this is all set up.
That's actually something I'm worried about. I really hope it doesn't do that. I think it's
I agree.
No, he was young, he was stupid. He did do this.
Yeah,
and he has to kind of just live with
because
that.
I feel like I feel like him not knowing that happened already gets him off the hook in terms of why he didn't act appropriately at the time, right? We can already forgive him for that because he didn't know, but the guilt of it happening is still here now and still has the weight to it.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole point of the citizen is for punishment, right?
Yeah.
And who's gonna punish himself more than Ollie once this happens? He's not counting on that. So the citizen, or he or she, we still don't know what the citizen is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that, and I like any type of Green Arrow story because Ollie can be such a sanctimonious prick sometimes.
Yep.
And that's kind of why I love him. But I like when the writers can turn that on its head. Like I feel like Lemire did that in the Outsider stuff, where he thought like he had everything figured out and he knows better than everybody, and he's like, oh no. Here's your dad really was the head of like this cult kind of thing. Oh, and here's your little sister. And it completely rocks his foundation. And I feel like here, to a lesser extent, is the same thing, where it was like, oh no, like he's got nothing on me. Oh no, maybe he does. Who is this guy? Where's it come from? And it puts that attitude that Ollie usually has in check and throws him off his game.
Yeah, because it shuts him up for a minute because he's so quick to talk and whatnot, but it shuts him up and he just walks out. I think one of my favourite things about it is that immediately he's like, oh, we've got to go save these other two people that he's going after. So, they split up and they go. And I like that Dinah just gets the job done, and then afterwards, when they're back at the house or whatever, like, because I was kind of half expecting, I think a poor piece of writing here for Dinah would have been her to, like, kind of fly off the handle and, like, be mad at him for it. Instead, she understands the weight of what he's just found out, and she actually tries to comfort him by making chili, and crack some jokes about the chili competition. Was it Chili Palooza or whatever they're calling it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? This actually feels very natural and realistic that she's trying to comfort him, because she, instead of being mad that he was involved in what he was involved in, she understands how this is eating at him, and she tries to help. She tries to comfort him, and I'm like, you know what? This feels very natural as a relationship in terms of the writing, and I'm like, I'm kind of digging that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they feel like an actual couple, not just two characters thrown together.
Definitely. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does anyone else think that Oliver should just have a horse?
It is pretty Robin Hood, though, right?
Yeah. It's just way cooler with a horse.
Because we get the.
So I got to that page, and the lady that was riding the horses has been tied to 4 of them. And that's how Citizen's going to execute her.
Quartered, yeah.
And I got to that page, I turned and went, oh, man. Wasn't expecting that.
No, it's gold. And actually, I really like the action of him, like, firing all the arrows, and, like, he gets 3 of them, but one's still got her, so she's been dragged along the ground, and then he has to try and fire that one. There's fun stuff. I think the art's pretty good. I like Fernandez. The colouring's a little bit more muted here than I think it was last issue, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
There are points that it really sticks out as too bright. All the emojis on the screen, the yes and no faces, they're like garishly yellow, and I feel like the first half of this as well. There's pages of Dinah and Ollie, and it's really bright, and it feels a bit much. And then when there are shadows, though, it looks really good.
Yeah. Honestly, my only real critique, and this is it's a very minor thing, because obviously Superman shows up at the end saying we need to talk, which is cool. I have a question though. The page before that, they're having the chili, and then there's a creak, and then I think Citizen might already be here after me, and they open the door and Superman's like flying there, floating. And I'm like, what creaked if he's flying?
Yeah.
No. This is what it is. He went down, took a step, just so he knows he's there, announced himself, and then flying because he's like, right, I need to have the image.
That's that principle of like slasher movies aren't as scary if you think about all the actual work that the slashers are putting into things. So like I forget what Friday the 13th they use, but it's like they put someone's head in the fridge, and then so when the people open it up, there's a head in the fridge. Think about Jason doing that. Like they hack off the head, put it in the fridge, and then sit in the shadows and wait. Like, oh, this is gonna be good. You're gonna be so scared. But yeah, if that's how you. But yeah, I didn't notice that till just now, Pete.
Yeah.
About the creek.
Yeah, because
I turned that page.
It was fine on the page. It says it was a creek or someone outside, cool. But then he's flying. I'm like, but was it a creek? He's flying in the air.
It's his way of knocking.
Yeah. Clark's here.
Yeah.
No, because that sounds like Jason Voorhees is here. That's the problem with this.
Clark's got a dark sense of humor. Supposed to shit him up a little bit.
So yeah.
He's going there.
Outside the creek, that image of Superman just looks so cool. The moon behind him, the cape billowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Clearly, probably wanting to talk about what was just broadcast in the news about Oliver Queen. So, hey, I actually like this issue a lot. I mean, I like the first issue as well. I think this one was even better and showed. I think the writing between Oliver and Dinah I really like a lot. And then hitting Oliver with this dark thing in his past, which hopefully sticks and stays true. Because like I say, I think he has the past because he didn't know, so we don't like hate him for it. But the guilt of it still works.
He's still responsible for what he did.
Yeah. And he can try and make amends now, which I assume will be part of the plot, assuming it sticks out to be true. So I think that works. So I'm digging the Bensons on this so far. I think I'm liking what they're doing with it. Yeah, Matt, what are you giving Green Arrow?
This was an 8. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Connor,
it's a solid 7 for me. If it's a good solid issue, yeah, that's a 7. For me, this isn't into it's great territory, which is where you get into the 8s.
Well, I think it kind of is for Green Arrow. I think it is. That's not a diss of Green Arrow. I just mean in terms of what it's nailing for the character. I feel like it's doing a lot of the right things for me. So I would agree with Matt and go with the solid 8.